welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. Just an incredible rumor mill of awesome, mystifying transfers, transfer details. The mill's turning. And I, for one, am excited. I'm enjoying all the drama. And if you're as excited about all the craziness going on in the market, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe to the channel, get the notification bell on. We got plenty more coming for you. So what do we think so far has been, one thing I'd like to point out about Arsenal's transfer window is we're doing the same thing we did last season, and we're getting it done early so that we can hopefully we'll have all the business done by the time they get across the pond here and make it to the States. Same thing we did last season. We had a stellar preseason, and we lost once in like the first 11 games or something of the league last season. In contrast, I guess Chelsea's preseason last year, nobody had any clue what was going on, and y'all started kind of struggled at the beginning. But what do we think of the exodus has begun at Chelsea? Lots of people leaving. Pochettino's gotten his first interview in. What are we thinking?
I mean, there's more to come. A lot of sentimental players left. You got, Loftus-Cheek, Mount. You've got
didn't Azpilicueta? Yeah.
Huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got Dave. And then you got of course N'Golo. He's gone. So I mean it's like a new era, first off. But it also is encouraging because this is needed to be done for a while. Maybe not for the sentimental guys by any means, but Chelsea has needed to thin some things out for a while now, and to actually do that and purchase for the future, it's nice. There are some people I wish we had gotten, like Ugarte. We were in with Vega, but he's going to PSG too. I don't know what PSG is selling, but have y'all seen their transfer business?
They're doing a lot as well. I've seen, yeah.
I mean, they've got our Asensio, they've got Ugarte, they've gotten Viega. Who else did they pull in?
Are they just trying to convince Mbappe that they can make a run in champs?
I think so. I really, really do. And I mean, of course, Mbappe's already said he wants to play next year there. Yeah. But he also wants to leave on a free because he's going to get a whole ton of money.
Yeah,
if
he gets all the money from that. Yeah.
Even more than what he would get if he just leaves this summer. So,
hey, we'll take you at Arsenal next season all day long.
His salary is going to be ridiculous, though.
His salary would be $1 million like a week?
Easily.
Look, we're run by billionaires, and the billionaires that are running Arsenal have won all kinds of championships in the last 5 years. I don't think they're hurting for it. Well, plus, it's Mbappe. Think about the shirt sales alone.
Well, no, I get it. I understand going for it, but I mean, it's sort of that issue that X was talking about at Chelsea. It's you have a salary structure, and if you break it for a person, and yes, Mbappe is one of those people that you're like, okay, you can break it if you don't have an established culture. But if you have an established culture, do you break it for this guy? Because then you have to win when they get there. There's no transition time. There's no give them a year to figure. No, you need to win now.
Does Mbappe need transition time?
Here's the question.
I guess can Mbappe win at Stoke on a rainy Tuesday night?
We don't know. Here's the question, though, and I know the answer is Mbappe plays anywhere, and he does. I'm not saying he wouldn't, but do you want to disrupt what you have created with Martinelli, with Saka, to bring in Mbappe? Because you're now saying that these guys, they're not good enough, right?
Not compared to him.
And of course they're not. I know that. I get that. But what I'm saying though is you're going to put a guy on a pedestal, way up on a pedestal. I mean, you're talking like a Thierry Henry type.
He put himself on a pedestal.
He deserves to be on it.
He deserves
Well,
to be.
I get that. I get that. But I'm saying when you're talking about uh, wage structures and all that, I mean that leads to some unrest sometimes.
Can I feel this first, Jake? Because
Yeah.
I have my own version.
Go
I
for it.
think the issue for Arsenal is if Arsenal gets a chance to get Mbappe, first he'll be in London. I mean, there's no loss for him to be there. So
Yeah.
that for his brand, that's perfect. But the issue is if they wait until next year, it depends on what happens in the next season. If they win the league next year, then they may be less prone to say, okay, we want to take that. Because if they got a machine kind of going, or they feel the machine, then I feel they would be less inclined to do that, especially if they make a run in champs as well as at the league. You have to really look at what you're doing. For example, like City. City can dictate all the terms to Mbappe. He couldn't come in here and say, hey, I'm displacing this person. No, we good. You play where we put you. If that doesn't work, then you go wherever because we just won 3 trophies. But Arsenal, if Arsenal don't win next year, then Arsenal is kind of subject to Mbappe's coming in kind of on a Ronaldo thing. I don't think he is Ronaldo, but on a Ronaldo thing of, well, you need me. And realistically, I would knock Arsenal for sort of acquiescing to it because, I mean, they want to win. Like they've spent a ton of money. I mean, they're getting to the point where the guys they have now are paid like sort of that medium level wage, but they're reaching that ascendancy level where they have to start paying them now. So you got one more season before you got to pay everybody. So
Well,
the only
everyone just
justification
re-signed.
you can, huh?
Everybody just re-signed.
And that's what I'm saying. But even then, so say you win, right? Say you win, you run through the league. You just everybody it clicks for everybody. You run through the league. You think those guys don't want money? Because I promise you, Saka just got paid. But let Saka have a season and be like top 10 Ballon d'Or. There's no way he's gonna be cool with the money he's making. No way. He'll immediately want it. And then the Euros are next year, right?
Next
So they'll
summer.
be at the end of that year, and that'll lead. So you're leading him into the Euros. If they perform there, there's no way every one of those English guys don't want their money. There's no way. So if they don't win, Mbappe coming in is easy. Hey man, you got this far. You stick me in the team, and it's convincing because he has silverware to go with it. Because even though it's League, which is now I think number 7 in the rankings in the world,
Oh man, I saw
but
that today. That's
But he's won there. But then you can't question it because then you can say, well, he did it in Monaco where he was ridiculously good, and he won the World Cup, and he performed in both World Cups he was in. So this stage is nothing for him. And when he was in champs, he was always performing. It was never him who was the issue.
no, I agree with that. I agree. But to your point, Patrick, it is what it is. And you make room for someone like that. You know, I would even say that if Mbappe were to come to Arsenal, it would be like a bigger deal than Thierry Henry because Henry at the time had not, the only thing he'd really made a name for himself was with France because he struggled with Juventus. You know, he didn't really light up the Serie A before he come to Arsenal in '99. So he was kind of made his name for France, is where, yes, he had a great tournament in the World Cup in '98. And that's, coincidentally why I'm a fan of Arsenal, why I'm a fan of his. And then if Mbappe came, he's already done it. He's already won the World Cup. He's already, damn near did it twice. He's I think it'd be big time. And I think you're right. The pressure, it would immediately escalate. Like you gotta now you have to produce. Have to.
Yeah.
You know. But City are doing some business as well in the transfer market. What's up with Gavardiol? Is he coming in? Heard anything
Well,
new?
from what I read, is the personal terms are done, so it's just a matter of the selling price, which apparently the idea is they want 100 million euros, which I guess is about 85 million pounds or something like that. And so I think they said City is going to come in at like 75, 80 with their first bid. And if they take it, boom, they throw the bonuses on there, go from there. Because he already knows he's a starter. I mean, he knows he's a starter. They know he's a starter. And Pep is doing whatever Pep does. It's funny because they haven't really brought anyone in. Like their net spend right now at this moment is 1 million. That's their net spend because they've sold players. And so,
well, I even heard that Arsenal are interested in Laporte.
yeah, I don't think. Now I know he turned Tottenham down. Like that was he flat out was like no, but
Smart.
but I mean, yeah, I know he's the issue with him is there's I think 4 City players where City is waiting for offers. They're not sending those guys out to field offers. So if no one offers anything, City's gonna bring them all back, and that includes Cancelo.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean the thing about it is that at the end of the day, I mean Pep has already shown if you are not about the unit, then you can go sit in the corner or you can go wherever. We'll loan you to somebody. We'll even loan
ship
you
you to
to a
Bayern,
good
sure.
team.
The U21s.
Yeah.
No, you know the thing is Pep didn't even go there to disrespect the guy. He was like, "Hey man, leave the country." I mean he played at Bayern. I mean he sent him to a good team. He's like, you know what? You just don't fit here. If you want to be here, then you be here. But like for example, everybody assumed Mahrez was gone. Apparently Mahrez got offered like 50 million a season to go to Saudi. And obviously he would fit there culturally just because of his, his religion or his background. And he hasn't accepted that offer. Bernardo
What about the
Silva
one
got
for
offered
Silva?
he got offered like retarded, crazy, sick money. And the thing is he just got married, so there's even more incentive because he just got married, right? But he's in the prime of his career. And I struggle to see him chasing money now. Because he's gonna get the money. It's not like he's not gonna get money.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of ties in with something I heard. I think it was on AFTV. They were talking about, how can, or maybe I don't know what I was watching, but it was talking about how who can win the league besides City, who can take it from City this season, and they were talking about hunger, and Silva's won everything. And even when last season, when they were talking about how there was maybe some unrest from Silva, maybe he wanted to go at the end of the season, but he still come out with a fire every game.
Because he's a player. It's the game.
And I don't think the hunger's going anywhere because y'all have a chance next season at another record. First English team to win 4 straight. So I don't
They're
think the
trying to win
hunger's
back-to-back Champions Leagues, man. There's a lot to do.
going at all.
But as far as I'm happy with the business. It was I don't think I sent it to you guys, but I was in a chat group with some City supporters, and there's a lot of City supporters. Well, not a lot, but there's some cage rattling of they're upset with how City's doing business because they're like, hey, why are they not buying wingers? Why are they not buying fullbacks? Why are they waiting so long? And it's funny because I remember like my first season when Pep was there and we finished 3rd. I was like, okay, what is he doing? But I was like, this guy's a winner, so I'm not gonna like go in on him, right? And rightfully so because they have more access to stuff. They know how they want to run the business. And 14 trophies later, I'm not questioning anything. I mean, and so people are like, well, you're gonna get complacent like a United. Pep Guardiola, I think, is what 54 or something like that.
Young.
He's super young.
Young.
He's been at the club for 7 seasons, so he hadn't even reached 10 years yet. I mean, the players are literally all in their prime, all of them. Like, I mean, obviously you want to refresh because you have to deal with holes and stuff, but the complaint was, well, he went 2 seasons and didn't get a striker because he didn't get the striker he wanted. When he got the striker he wanted, I mean, it's not like he's going to go out there and try to lose games. It's his reputation. I mean, he's there to win, and clearly he has an ego. I mean, I would, and
Could you
so
not?
and so why would you not trusting the business they do from a team that everybody went from for you don't have history. Okay, now you got some history. Well, it's plastic. Oh, it's not plastic anymore. Well, you don't have as many as us. Oh, and all of those little things that were there get knocked down. And so, I mean, the Premier League has been around for 31 years. And United has 13 titles. They finished second 7 times. So 20 years of the 31 years, they've been top 2. City just showed up, 7 titles, 3 second place finishes. And they really just started in 2008. So you're looking at that and you're like looking at that math and saying, yes, it'll be a challenge to catch United. But the hunger is, so the noisy neighbors are no longer getting called the noisy neighbors now. And so I think that matters because you see other people emulating what they do. And I'm going to just trust them. And the thing about it is that at the end of the day, you kind of got to work with what you got, right? Because at the end, like Chelsea spent, and I mean, I don't know the number because I don't see the math where he said they spent 600 million. I don't believe that. Maybe they did. I don't think they spent that much money. But whatever they spent, clearly spending money is not the answer to fixing your team. Because if you don't have a manager with the leadership getting players they want, then none of it matters. And so when people talk about, well, Guardiola spent $1 billion and he won 14 trophies, when you spent $1 billion, what'd you get? I mean, because we're sitting here acting like people don't spend money. And the thing is, Chelsea spent money, but Chelsea got 2 Champions League, 2 Europa Leagues, and I think 5 Premier Leagues, if I'm not mistaken. If the money is turning something over, then they do. They have a global fan base. Arsenal's the same, even though Arsenal's different on the European front. Arsenal has I think 5 or they have 3 Premier League titles and they have I think 12 top flight total or something like that.
13.
13. I mean, and they have a global fan base. City is trying to catch that, and it takes time to do that. And so when people look and say, well, we don't know what they're doing. First of all, it's a business. We're not spending stuff the player of the week, because if that was the case, City would have bought Messi when the whole thing went down in the Messi thing. Messi did not fit in City, and it didn't make sense to get him there because he would have walked around the field. Have you seen him play recently? He literally walks around. Phenomenal player, all-time guy. He walks around, and that doesn't work in the City team. Like, how you can't walk around.
You can't. There's no
And
work.
So you look at that, and I like the business. There's going to be people that get bought that no one knows. And that's the other thing that people, when they question the City's business, is they're like, oh, they need to buy a name. Well, did you know who Akanji was before they bought Akanji? Did you think Ruben Diaz was going to be one of the top 5 center halves in the world? Was John Stones a right back, center mid, holding midfielder before? Like, none of these people were those things. Their valuation has been built since they got there. So to think that it's about the money, because every guy City spent money on flops. When we spent money on Mangala, when we spent money on what's the fullback?
Mendy.
I mean, you got guys you spent money on them and nothing. And then people are like, well, why did Pep do it? Well, the board buys according to what the manager needs. So when Pellegrini was there, we bought giant strikers. You had the Beast came in. And they played that style. De Bruyne fit his style, but then when Pep came, De Bruyne was perfect. And so you have to look. When Mancini was there, they brought in Yaya Toure and David Silva. I mean, you buy who meets the manager's needs. So, for example, with Arsenal, when they brought in Declan Rice, they feel Rice will fit next to Odegaard to complement whoever else is going to play in that midfield. Because the manager said, hey, I need this guy. This is the profile. So spending money on a guy you don't need just to spend money to sell jerseys is stupid.
I would make the exact same point for Arsenal. The exact same point for Arsenal this season. All of us are kind of shaking our heads, scratching our heads about Kai Havertz. Mikel Arteta's not.
It makes no sense. I'm just going to tell you, it makes 0 sense.
Maybe to us, yes. But you know what makes sense, and you know what I am happy about? Mikel Arteta went to the board and said, hey, I want Havertz, I want Rice, and we've got him. So
that's enough.
just like you said, Lewis, I've learned it. I've learned it as well. You just trust the process. The man, until the man like fails miserably, and we spend all this money and we're awful. You can't say anything.
And I don't think you'll ever be awful now, because at that point, then it'll be the criticism will be how many trophies did he win? And the thing about it is, you can't even go there because he won a trophy already.
Yeah, right out the
And
gate.
so the thing is that it's so unfair because it's like Chelsea is one of the perfect examples where they found, and I really connected to Roman. The fact that Bowley is trying to emulate what Roman did without being Roman shows that doing the same thing someone else does is unlikely to get you the same result without the person there.
See, I don't agree that Bowley is trying to do what Roman did, because Roman was so hell bent on success that if you lost for like 2 weeks straight, you were gone. It didn't matter. You were gone. I don't care if you're the greatest manager in the world. I don't care if you created soccer. You didn't win, you were gone. Bowley and company seem to be a little bit more about the process, while Roman was like, okay, let's do the funds to it. I'm gonna stay back and I'm gonna watch this. And if the people aren't doing it right, they're gone. So I do understand what you're saying in terms of Roman putting money into the club, because he did. He put so much money into the club. I mean, I read at one point he was floating the club $10 million more a month just to cover the wage bill. Like personally floating $10 million a month to cover the wage bill. I don't foresee that being the case, because I think Bowley would actually do that if he wasn't having to renovate the stadium. I really do.
I think this goes perfectly with what Lewis was saying as well, because Roman, and it goes with what you're saying as well, Patrick. Yes, Roman would axe people quickly, but that also shows that he knew how important the manager role was. He brought in Mourinho, and y'all were great, and Mourinho stayed for a couple seasons until, like you say, things kind of went downhill, and he brought in somebody else. But the fact that Potter stayed so long speaks more about Bowley and how he's going to be running things. As far as y'all were bad for a long time, and Roman would never have. Roman would have just owned up to it. Like, look, I messed this one up. You got to go.
Yeah.
Well, but I think we're and I agree to a degree, but I think we're taking a different sort of stance, because I don't think Roman came in the same space where he was trying to live up to something that was there. And Bowley is coming into that. So, like, for example, if City got sold to somebody, that next owner is trying to live up to the Sheik, man. There's no way you match that. And so you're like, well, so you try to do the same things. Also, the other thing is the fact that, Roman was pulling managers from a place where like when he pulled Mourinho had won the Champions League. I mean, the guy's not a failure. So, that's going to be a success. Potter, that means that Roman's ability to spot talent was different than Bowley's. And so you think I don't know how much money Roman spent in the first season, but I know it's nowhere near what Bowley spent. And so that's where it's different, because I think Bowley is like, man, I spent the money like we were already Chelsea, but I didn't have the same sort of dynamic existing because I didn't have that manager that I kind of knew. If he had done this in the offseason, instead of letting Tuchel establish something, I think it would have been different. But I think that's a part of the play that affected it, because it wasn't his guy. And I think
and also, he took over the club in August, and it was like, okay, we're on a tour of the U.S., and like Tuchel was complaining about everything about that tour. Like he said
We all
that
did have to travel like thousands and thousands of
They
miles.
were going cross country.
they were going cross country. They started in Vegas. They went to Charlotte, and then they went to Orlando.
Yeah.
And then they went somewhere else after that, if I remember right.
And see, that's connect, because you said Roman. Well, X said Roman is like he's connected to the players. Well, Bowley was connected to money because that didn't care about the players at all. And so I just think Roman would have.
Well, that was already planned, though. I mean, that was before. That wasn't a Bowley thing.
But I still feel like there would have been something to address the players where maybe all the players don't travel or something like that, where you can do something where, hey, okay, you players are going to play the games over here on the West Coast and these guys will play over here. You'll just be on the bench.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because there's a way around that.
Yeah.
Right.
But that August thing, that killed him, man.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. But I will say this. I think also Roman thought that he had to win right away and that he had to get ready-made players. And Bowley and the consortium, that's what we'll call them, is more about building this 6-year project.
Yeah.
They want to have guys that are entering their primes already as part of Chelsea. I mean, Madueke the other day won player of the game in the U21 Euros against I can't remember who it was. Portugal, maybe? I think it was Portugal.
Who's he play for? Believe it or not, I actually have that group tables up. Does he play for Belgium?
No, Madueke plays for England.
Oh, then it wasn't Portugal. It was either Israel, Czech Republic, or Germany.
It was Israel. It was Israel.
That's the group they're in.
Yeah. And then Mudryk, he's playing in the U21s with Ukraine, and he had an incredible assist. Did y'all see it?
No, I did not even know.
Put it on the striker's foot from about 60 yards out.
Nice.
It was nice. I'll have to find it for you.
Yeah.
But my point being is if you look at what the composition of the team is, and I know X gets frustrated with it, and I understand completely. The older voices are gone. No other way to put it. They're gone. But the composition of the team is, I mean, you just bought the youth player of the World Cup. You know, you're buying potential, yes, but you're also buying some potential that's already proven itself. With Roman, it was, I mean, he went and bought Shevchenko right away. He went and got Aaron Robin before he took off. He, of course, went and got, I think Petr Cech, I think was one of his first signings as well. So, I mean, I think that there's a long-term goal to all of this. I do think that it's going to be accelerated with a manager like Pochettino. I think when you brought in Potter, it was more, okay, maybe we're not going to be top 4, but we're going to stay in that top 6 and everything's going to be fine. And we're going to gradually grow this. And it just fell apart. But that's getting back to the transfer side of things. Chelsea's got more to go. Pulisic's probably going to be gone soon. I don't know if y'all saw, but Ziyech failed his medical.
Yeah, I saw that.
What?
Failed his medical.
How? Like, what do you mean?
Knee and ankle issues, I think. Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
So he failed his medical. So he's still negotiating with them, but Al Nassr, I think it was, or Al Nassr, they dropped his offer by like half.
No.
Like they cut it. I mean, just right in half. So he may still be at Chelsea next year. Who knows?